Major decision from the California Supreme Court, a ruling that doctors cannot refuse treatment to gays on religious grounds. The ruling means that doctors may not discriminate against gays and lesbians in medical treatment, even if the procedures being sought conflict with physicians' religious beliefs. Joining on the live line right now, the executive director of the Gay and Lesbian Medical Association, Joel Ginsberg, is with us. Mr. Ginsberg, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for your time today. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Tell us about this particular case and what you think it means.
Well, the doctors in this case wanted to say that anti-discrimination laws shouldn't apply to them because of their religious faith. The case involved a lesbian in San Diego who had gone to them to receive artificial insemination because she wanted to have a child, and the doctor said, this conflicts with my religious faith, so I'm not willing to perform this procedure for you. However, California has a law which says you can't discriminate against people because of their race or their religion or their sexual orientation or their gender if you're in a business. And so the Supreme Court of California held unanimously that people who choose to be in business in California are required to obey the laws that apply to all other business owners.
So if this doctor or these doctors, if they wanted to not do these procedures at all, they have that option. But if they agree to do the procedures, they can't decide and pick and choose who they do it for and do not do it for. Is that right?
That's exactly right. And I wanted to say this case will not require doctors to perform abortions. If you don't want to perform an abortion because it's against your religious faith, then you don't have to perform it for anybody. This is just saying that if you're in business and you perform a certain kind of procedure, you can't refuse to perform that procedure for someone else if that violates the state's anti-discrimination laws.
Now, will this have reverberations beyond this particular kind of procedure, or will it, be a standalone event here?
Well, no. This is actually not that is really not a groundbreaking case. This is not a gay rights case. Has nothing to do with marriage. This is simply saying that if you're in business, you have to follow the same laws as everybody else, and religious faith doesn't give you any way out. I think that one thing that people maybe didn't realize about this case is that the doctors in this case were actually arguing that if their religious faith should exempt business owners from any of this kind of regulation. So they were actually arguing that a rule should be such that if I don't want to treat somebody because of their race, I don't have to. If I don't want to treat somebody because of their religion, I don't have to. And I think that there's a long line of cases at the U.S. Supreme Court and the California Supreme Court that say, we just don't want to be that kind of society.
And so I saw a note that said this case is now going back to court in San Diego. This ruling, I assume, will have some influence on how the case is dealt with now?
Well, yeah, what this ruling said was that as a matter of law, you can't say that the anti-discrimination laws don't apply to you if you're in business in California just because you say it conflicts with your religious beliefs. The issue here, though, is whether is the reason for the discrimination. The plaintiff in this case said that the doctors discriminated against her because she was a lesbian. They argued, no, we discriminated against you because you were an unmarried woman. It's not illegal to discriminate against unmarried women. So there's going to be they'll have to go back to the trial court to figure out what was the basis of the discrimination.
I understand. I'm sure some people might simply say, well, there are plenty of doctors in the world. Why couldn't this woman go find a doctor to whom this was not an issue?
Well, I mean, she actually did end up going to another doctor, but it cost her a lot of extra money. This was actually the only doctor in her health plan that could provide the fertility treatments. But then also, I think it's important to recognize in discrimination that when you turn somebody away, you've already done damage. If there's a lunch counter at a Walgreens, in the South, and you go in there in 1965 and they won't serve you, and they say, well, please go next door where they will serve you, you've already been damaged.
Fair enough, I understand. We appreciate your insights and your time this morning. Thank you very much, Mr. Ginsberg.
My pleasure.
Thank you.